Christian Horner is officially free to return to Formula One. His non-compete clause expired on May 8, 2026, and from that moment on, the paddock has been full of speculation about where he is going next. He has the money, he has the ambition, and he has made it clear that he has unfinished business in the sport. The question is not whether he comes back. The question is how, and that is where most people get it wrong. The media keeps talking about which team will offer him a contract as a team principal. They mention Aston Martin, they mention Ferrari, but that is not what Horner is looking for. He has said publicly that he would only return for the right opportunity and that he wants to be a partner rather than just a hired hand. He does not want a job. He wants ownership. After what happened at Red Bull, that makes complete sense. He spent 20 years building one of the most successful teams in the history of Formula One, and in the end, he was fired in a single day because he did not own any shares. He had no protection. He had no say. He was an employee, and employees can be let go. That is the lesson he took from his time at Red Bull, and it is the reason why his return to the sport will look completely different from what people expect. If he just wanted a job as a team principal, he would have several teams interested in him. McLaren CEO Zak Brown recently said that Horner's track record speaks for itself, and that he would be shocked if Horner was not back in the sport soon. But because Horner wants to buy into a team, the list of possible destinations becomes very short. There are currently 10 teams in Formula One. For most teams, the door is completely closed. Haas owner Gene Haas has repeatedly refused to sell shares in his team. Ferrari has no shares available for a team principal, and Fred Vasseur has a long-term contract. Williams is owned by the investment firm Doralton Capital, who have made it clear they do not want to sell their stake. The new Cadillac team has publicly stated that Horner is not joining them. A return to Red Bull or their sister team Racing Bulls is politically impossible after his dismissal. Mercedes and McLaren already have strong established leaders in Toto Wolff and Zak Brown, both of whom also own shares in their respective teams. And Audi, who are taking over the Sauber team, have a full corporate structure with no shares available for an individual like Horner. They did hire Jonathan Wheatley, Horner's former sporting director at Red Bull, as their team principal, but Wheatley left Audi after just 3 races into the 2026 season, with Alan McNish stepping in as racing director. That position is not one Horner would be interested in anyway. That leaves only one realistic option for Horner inside Formula One: Alpine. The Alpine situation is complicated, but it is exactly the kind of opportunity Horner is looking for. The American investment fund Otro Capital, which includes famous actors like Ryan Reynolds, bought a 24% stake in the Alpine team in 2023 for $218 million. At the time, that was considered a fair price. But the value of Formula One teams has gone up dramatically since then, and Otro Capital now wants to sell this stake and take their profit. The 24% share is now estimated to be worth over $600 million, nearly 3 times what they paid for it. Horner has reportedly formed a group with MSP Sports Capital to buy this stake. MSP Sports Capital is a major investment firm that previously backed McLaren Racing before selling their stake in September 2025, so they know exactly how Formula One works, and they have the capital to make a deal happen. Buying this 24% stake would give Horner the power base he is looking for. He would not just be an employee, he would be a part owner of a works team. But there are 3 major obstacles in his way before this deal can happen. First, the competition. Horner is not the only person trying to buy these shares. Mercedes, the parent company, not Toto Wolff personally, has also made a bid for the Alpine shares. So has the American billionaire Steve Cohen, who owns the New York Mets baseball team and has massive financial resources. Horner is fighting against some very deep pockets. Second, the Renault veto. Renault owns the other 76% of the Alpine team. Under the terms of their agreement with Otro Capital, Renault has the right to reject any buyer until September 2026. Renault seems to prefer selling the shares to Mercedes. This makes sense, especially since Alpine has already agreed to stop making their own engines and will start using Mercedes engines from 2026 anyway. A closer relationship with Mercedes would benefit Renault. Third, the FIA rules. The FIA is currently looking into whether owning parts of multiple teams should be banned. If Mercedes buys into Alpine, they would own parts of 2 different Formula One teams. Many people in the paddock think this is a conflict of interest. If the FIA decides to ban multi-team ownership, Mercedes would have to drop out of the bidding for the Alpine shares. That would remove Horner's biggest rival and make his chances of buying the team much better. But there is another option that almost everyone is missing. Horner's best chance might not be in Formula One at all. Liberty Media, the American company that owns Formula One, recently bought Moto GP. The current CEO of Moto GP, Carmelo Ezpeleta, has been in charge since 1998 and is expected to step down soon as Liberty Media brings in their own people to run the sport. According to multiple reports, Horner is on Liberty Media's shortlist to become the new CEO of Moto GP. He was even seen at the Spanish Grand Prix in Jerez recently as a guest of Liberty Media and Moto GP. When asked about it, he stayed quiet, only saying that he was there as a guest and that he appreciates motorcycle racing. Former Formula One boss Bernie Ecclestone has reportedly advised Horner to take a role in MotoGP rather than returning to Formula One. Ecclestone privately told him that MotoGP is the better opportunity right now. This move would not make him the boss of a team, it would make him the boss of an entire global sport. Liberty Media wants to do for MotoGP what they did for Formula One, and they need someone who understands how to grow a motorsport brand. Horner, who became a household name partly through his appearances in Drive to Survive, fits that profile perfectly. It would be a massive step up in terms of overall power and influence. There is also the issue of reputation to consider. Many people think Horner's track record of winning is enough to get him any job he wants in motorsport. But in 2024, he faced allegations of inappropriate behaviour. Even though he was cleared by an independent investigation hired by Red Bull, the situation was very public. This has damaged his reputation with large publicly traded companies like Renault or Audi. These companies are very careful about their public image and do not like taking risks when it comes to public relations. This is another reason why Horner needs to buy his way back into the sport rather than relying on a big corporation to hire him. If Horner does manage to take over Alpine, he will build the team with one goal in mind: to beat Red Bull. He will want to prove that he was the real reason behind Red Bull's success. This would completely change the power dynamics in the paddock. He also has the support of FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem, who recently said in an interview in Miami that the sport misses Horner. Ben Sulayem said he keeps in touch with Horner regularly and that he would welcome him back with open arms. He even said, when he comes back, it will be like he went for a vacation. Having the support of the FIA president is a significant advantage for anyone trying to buy a Formula One team. Christian Horner has the money, but his path back to the pit wall is very narrow. Over the next few months, we will see how this plays out. Between now and September 2026, we have to wait for the FIA's decision on multi-team ownership. If Mercedes is blocked from buying the Alpine shares, Horner becomes the clear favourite. In September, Renault's right to veto a buyer expires. If Otto Capital is free to sell to the highest bidder without Renault interfering, Horner will have to compete directly with billionaire Steve Cohen to get the deal done. If the Alpine deal fails, there is a very good chance that Horner will leave Formula One behind completely and accept the role of CEO at MotoGP under Liberty Media. It would give him the power and control he wants without having to fight the politics of the Formula One paddock. The chance that we will see Christian Horner back in the Formula One paddock in 2026 or 2027 is very real. He is too competitive to just walk away and retire. But when he does come back, it will be on his own terms. It will be as an owner of Alpine or not at all. We will be watching closely to see what his next move is. For 10 months, Christian Horner was forced to sit at home and watch Formula One from the outside. No paddock access, no team, no role. Just a non-compete clause stopping him from going anywhere near the sport he spent 20 years building. That clause expired on May 8, 2026. And now, everyone wants to know the same thing. What does Christian Horner do next?